Thanos is the biggest and baddest guy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for good reason. With a snap of his fingers, he wiped out half of the population of the universe, and probably your favorite superhero in the process. But we promise he's not all bad. He's done some good things in the comics, at least. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with CBR and ring that bell to become a part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, here are some times Thanos was actually a pretty chill guy.
You alienated my favorite daughter, Gamora.
Rescued and raised Gamora. Now we all know what Thanos did to Gamora in Infinity War, but we promise he was really nice to her before he threw her off a cliff to claim the Soul Stone. The thing is, if Thanos hadn't rescued her when she was a young child, she would have been dead then and there. Gamora is a member of a nearly extinct race, and she's one of the last of her kind. Her people were slaughtered by Magus, the alter ego of Adam Warlock. Thanos set out to prevent a specific timeline where Magus would become all-powerful, and he thought saving Gamora would create a new track to that timeline. To be fair, Thanos' reasons to rescue Gamora weren't entirely selfless. He wasn't just trying to save the universe. He wanted to get some of Magus' power as well. He could have abandoned Gamora when rescuing her, but instead, he raised her as his own, trained her to fight, and even taught her about some holidays, like Christmas. Throwing her off a cliff was entirely selfish though, and we'll never forgive him for that.
You kill him, I will help you destroy 1,000 planets.
Joined the good guys to fight Nebula. Thanos was also out to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet for his own use in the comics, and succeeded just like he did in the film. He made a mistake though and didn't account for Nebula, who he had left close to death on his ship. She stole the gauntlet from him and healed herself while Thanos was busy astral projecting, and his mind wasn't in his body. As a result, Nebula became the real villain of the comic book arc, which wasn't the case in Infinity War despite all the fans who wished it would happen. Thanos didn't sit back and let her destroy things though. He teamed up with the heroes to save her. It took the combined abilities of Thanos, Adam Warlock, and the Silver Surfer to stop Nebula and split up the Infinity Gems. Now this didn't make Thanos any more trustworthy, but he and Adam Warlock did share a mutual respect that led them to team up again in the future.
Take joy in the last few hours you have left, for he is nearly here.
Worked with the Silver Surfer to stop Thor. The Blood and Thunder comic book arc was, shall we say, interesting. It saw Thor driven insane and bent on destruction. As a desperate move, Thanos was called in to save the day. Initially, Thor's destructive insanity was relegated to Asgard, where his own people tried to stop him. The Silver Surfer was soon on the scene to help, and it was him who called on Thanos when he realized his abilities alone weren't enough to end the conflict. Thanos didn't initially want to help, but he did come to Asgard's rescue, battling Thor and even confining him to a prison that could hold him temporarily while his Asgardian family figured out just what could be done to help him. Thor eventually thanked Thanos for his role in saving the day, and Thanos enjoyed the experience of fighting the God of Thunder, so it was a win-win for everyone. But it's just weird to see Thor and Thanos being friendly.
Love is a beautiful thing.
Saved death with Deadpool. Though Thanos began the story arc in the limited series Deadpool vs. Thanos as a competition for the merc with a mouth, the two ended up becoming buddies. There's a whole weird love triangle between Deadpool, Thanos, and Lady Death. Deadpool, because he can't die, caught the attention of Lady Death, which made Thanos jealous. Thanos has always enjoyed being the center of her attention and didn't like that he had competition. The two decided to join forces though, as Lady Death was kidnapped by Eternity. With death held by Eternity, everything would live forever, which would have brought chaos to the comic book world. It was ultimately Deadpool who convinced Lady Death to return, but Thanos made sure they were both able to get to her.
Without all your cosmic doohickeys, you're just another loser with a big ego.
Became a farmer. Both the heroes and readers of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline were led to believe that Thanos died during the massive battle that occurred, but it was revealed that he was actually still alive in a place they wouldn't have expected. When receiving a visit from Adam Warlock, Thanos is shown to be living a simpler life. The larger-than-life villain decided to take it easy and become a farmer after his latest quest for power didn't quite go as planned. He decided to take some time out for himself and examine his own life, figuring out just where he made a wrong turn. Of course, this vastly different Thanos didn't last forever. Thanos may have spent some time growing plants and reflecting, but eventually he would set out to rule the universe again, and again, and again.
These are called Infinity Gems. I've searched the galaxy for them.
Guarded the Reality Gem. Despite having tried to steal and use all of the Infinity Gems for himself, Thanos was entrusted with the guardianship of one of them by Adam Warlock. Following Thanos' defeat, it was actually Adam Warlock who ended up with the Infinity Gauntlet and the powers of a god. He went before the Living Tribunal to discuss the possession of the gems, and it was decided that he wasn't worthy of godhood. Warlock decided to give the gems to those he trusted, and kept one of them for himself. Thanos was given the reality gem. This might seem like an odd choice, but the gem is often considered the most dangerous, able to completely rip apart reality as we know it. Thanos, for all his love of power and destruction, can't be a raging egomaniac if reality ceases to exist, so it wasn't a bad move on Adam Warlock's part after all.
Letting the Avengers loose on this world. They're dangerous.
Led the Avengers. There was one issue many Marvel comic book fans had with the Thanos solo series, which saw the Mad Titan in a very unfamiliar situation. He was the leader of the latest team of Avengers. Yes, the guy who every Avenger is trying to kill in Infinity War is the one leading them all. Thanos number 10 saw the title character getting a chance to see a world where he was the biggest hero of the Avengers, and the entire world loved him, even uttering the catchphrase "Avengers Assemble" on the way into battle, while Daredevil, Miss Marvel, and many more followed his lead. Luckily, the entire thing is a lie, a hallucination of sorts created to test him. It's a fleeting moment for longtime comic book readers, but one where they finally get to see Thanos as a hero instead of a villain who only aligns with the good guys when it suits him.
Annihilation! Its name is Annihilus!
Changed his mind. When Annihilus decided it was his turn to dominate the universe, Thanos surprised many by sitting back and not challenging the villain. Instead, Thanos decided to follow Annihilus since he was tired of seeing the same heroes rise and villains fall. That might sound bad, but it's not why this experience has a spot in our video. When Thanos discovered that Annihilus wasn't out to rule the universe but to destroy it, he realized he had made a mistake. He decided he could no longer be a follower and set out to release the trapped Galactus, the only one who could likely take Annihilus on and win. Thanos was killed by Drax before he had the chance, but it was the thought that counts.
Thanos respects one thing only: power.
Joined Namor's cabal. Namor has a history of crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed in the comics, and Thanos isn't much different, even when he's the good guy. The two teamed up to cross a new line when the world was in danger of colliding with another. At the time, Namor had been kicked out of the Illuminati because of the extreme measures he went to in order to prevent worlds from colliding in the past. No longer a part of the secret supergroup, he needed a few people who could hold their own when two universes were on a collision course. In addition to Thanos, Namor also recruited the Inhuman Maximus, Reed Richards from another dimension, and many more. While the goal was saving the world, and it was achieved, the group also demanded the country of Wakanda as payment when the United Nations sanctioned their actions. They just wanted that sweet, sweet vibranium.
I won't rest until I've destroyed everything and everyone you hold dear.
Saved reality by battling Magus. Adam Warlock might have been willing to put his trust in Thanos, but he had a dark side of his own. Thanks to a little bit of magic, the good part of Adam Warlock's soul and the bad part of his soul were sentient beings. Magus, the manifestation of the bad part of his soul, wanted to reassemble the same Infinity Gauntlet that Thanos once possessed and Adam Warlock broke apart. He wasn't out for control or power, but the destruction of everything. Initially, it was the usual lineup of heroes who attempted to thwart Magus, including Adam Warlock himself. But Thanos soon emerged on the scene with a blueprint on how to take the villain out. With good reason, many didn't trust him, but he proved he was on the hero's side yet again.
Would you be willing to make a deal?
Outsmarted Mephisto. During the conflict with Goddess, there was someone who reached out to Adam Warlock and Thanos for assistance, who was somehow even less trustworthy than Thanos himself: Mephisto. Mephisto is a demon-like entity in Marvel Comics who considers himself the ruler of Hell. He likes to make bargains with his targets, which usually end with someone selling their soul to him. In this case, Mephisto offered his help in exchange for a cosmic cube, and Thanos accepted. Adam Warlock actually ended up using the power of cosmic cubes to create a universe-wide hallucination, and when it was done, Thanos destroyed the cosmic egg that held them all. He still gave Mephisto a cube in the end, but it was powerless at that point. Tricking Mephisto isn't exactly nice, but it was the right thing to do for the rest of the universe. No one wants Mephisto to have too much power.
To challenge them is to court death.
Fell in love. If you want proof that Thanos can be a nice and caring guy, look no further than the fact that he's capable of falling in love with one of the scariest Marvel characters you could possibly ever encounter, Lady Death. There have been many versions of Death in the comic book world, but it's Lady Death who has stolen Thanos' heart, and he appears to have hers as well, since she's allowed him to be resurrected, she's taken his advice, and even traveled with him. It's been one of the most unconventional relationships in the comics, but it's certainly a passionate and beautiful one. After all, most of Thanos' big moments can be traced back to wanting to impress the love of his life. He wants to be worthy of her, and sometimes that means the grandest of gestures involving sacrificing a few trillion people. It's still a better love story than Twilight.
I think you've lost your edge.
Fine.
Well, there you have it. Do you like Thanos? Do you think he's the best Marvel villain of all time? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to CBR to keep up to date with all of our videos. Thanks for watching.